Welcome back to the Blue Sports Stable, Superior, Colorado. Game 2 of the Silver Stick Regional Tournament. Pronghorns came out on top big with a shutout in the first round against the Boulder Rough Riders. Today we're facing off against the Nebraska Warbirds. It'll be Mushlock out there to start. Take the center, it's Gage Winke in net. We are underway. Wins it over for Sanders, who looks to carry it forward. Sanders and Mushlock working on the near boards. It'll bring Nebraska coming out with it, pushing it forward. And into the zone, Jayce McNeal back behind Winke. Feeds it across for Anderson. It's poked back in deep by Nebraska. Now picked up by Mushlock, has it at his feet. He'll tie up his man. Mushlock pushes this one for Anderson. He'll turn and go. Held in at the blue line, no. Now out to center as Sanders makes a collision there, no call. Mushlock is tripped down to the ice, no arm in the air for that either. It'll be Locke Vanbragt picking up this puck, circling back around behind Winke. He's forecheck and pestered. Weston Sanders tries to center one, had no line mates in there with him. Hansen freshly on the ice, sends this one deep. Friedman there. Intercepted by Lachlan Denton. Denton centers one across. Oh, and he had Friedman right out front. Went through him, and Nebraska reverses the other direction. There's Hopkins, stands up right there inside. Hopkins hooked a little, but he's going to get to the puck. Fires a shot from the right circle pad, save into the corner. Brody Hopkins trying to battle for control there. Comes all the way back to Easton Hansen. Fires a shot that's blocked out front, now back into the corner. Ralston Friedman here. Lifts a shot that misses wide left. All the way to the other side of the ice goes Lachlan Denton. Oh, great crossing pass. Finds Brody Hopkins on this side. Tries to unleash the one-timer. Hopkins sends another one off the outside of the net and then cleared by Nebraska. This is going to go for the icing. Mushlock with the draw. It's one and pushed to the corner. Now around the far side, Amborski and Mushlock head there. Put up the wall. Jayce McNeal tries to pinch it down lower for Mushlock, does. Mushlock's angled off, but gets the puck over to Brock Curtis. Tries a backhand shot. Goes wide and back behind. Nebraska scoops it up there. There's a shot, high slot. And that beats Winke. Blocker side. Nebraska's going to open the scoring in this one. 9:13 remaining in the first period. Back in play. Most of the offensive pressure created thus far in the game in Wyoming's favor, but it's Nebraska who opens the scoring. Mushlock chips that up out. Just back and forth. Now back into Wyoming territory. Henderson pushes it out of the zone. Amborski overskates. Hansen gets it to Curtis. Curtis into the zone onside. Brock Curtis fires a shot. Nice blocker save. Curtis goes after. Centers one across. Amborski was right in front. Denton now playing down low. He's got all 5 Nebraska Warbirds all over him, but he's maintaining control. Lachlan Denton from the corner. Fresh legs come on the ice for Wyoming as Denton held the puck down there the entire time for Wyoming to get a change. He still has control. Feeds it to Anderson from the left dot, fires a shot, blocked and deflected back behind. All the way back to the point, Elijah Henderson chips it deeper. Denton, near corner again, changes directions. Centers across, that goes off a Warhawk skate. And they'll push it around the far side. Changing was Henderson, and McNeal, right fresh on the ice, will play it forward for Anderson. Anderson overskates, gets his pocket picked. That player blows a tire, and into the zone offside comes Nebraska. 7:32 to play in the period. Mushlock over center for the draw. Players taking their positions. Draw is controlled here by the Warhawks. Warbirds. Maybe Warhawks, can't remember. Warbirds. Hopkins trying to pass it over for Friedman. That's blocked. Now Mushlock and McNeal. Out of the zone, back to center. Dennis, the scorer for Nebraska, has it, but he's pestered immediately by both Friedman and Mushlock. Oh, and Mushlock taken down hard. Hops right back up. There's a cross check right to the back, uncalled. This is going to go for the icing. Draw, Denton. Back behind the net. Denton now hustling over near corner. Hansen fires a shot, blocked out front. Amborski going to the far corner after this one. Amborski wins the puck race, has control, centers it for the high slot. Nobody there, and Hansen has it hop over his stick, unable to keep it in. Battle right here inside the Wyoming Pronghorns blue line. Now picked up by Amborski. He's surrounded by black sweaters. Amborski angled off the puck, goes to the corner. Brock Curtis there. Lachlan Denton fires one, and that's just under the pad. Almost snuck all the way through. Good scoring chance there off the stick of Lachlan Denton. But the save is made, and we'll get an offensive zone face-off near circle. Shot there is blocked out front. Held in by McNeal. Mushlock pushes it deeper for Anderson. Now McNeal fires it into the slot. Weston Sanders there, but Nebraska is able to turn it back to center for the clear. D to D for Locke Vanbragt. He's pestered immediately by Dreimeyer for Nebraska. There's a shot well wide to the right. Vanbragt will be first to this puck on the far side. He'll fire it out to center. Weston Sanders skates through a defender now. Here's Easy Anderson. Oh, and that's going to be a slew foot. Tripping. So Wyoming, with 4:36 remaining in the first period, will get its first power play of the hockey game. Mushlock out there to take the draw. He's got Sanders and Anderson flanking him. It's Henderson along with Hansen as your defensive pairing. Mushlock wins this draw, pushes it for Anderson. Anderson tries to center it across Sanders, but too many defenders there. Mushlock fires a shot, blocked out front, comes right back to him, another one blocked out front. Nebraska doing a good job getting a lot of traffic between Pronghorns and their own goaltender, and shots not allowed through. There's a save by Winke. Puck is freed. Mushlock, who feeds it just out of the reach of Anderson, but Anderson's going to win the... Oh, he's going to get beat to that puck. Nebraska has it. They are now back to full strength. Penalties only a minute long for this tournament at this level. That one on net, no icing. Picked up here by Elijah Henderson. He'll delay back behind his own net. Has a forechecker turned over at the blue line, but now gathered right back by Friedman. Gets his pocket picked, and Nebraska into the zone only momentarily. Here's Raleigh Friedman. Dumps it in. 3.5 to play in the period. Lachlan Denton working on the far side. And Nebraska pushes this one out right in front of Wyoming's bench. Vanbragt will play it. Up the wall for Denton. Loses an edge. Nebraska goes D to D over for Burr. Hopkins trying to pick the pocket. Denton peels this one off the wall. Cannot gain the zone. And here comes Nebraska. One left to beat. It's McNeal back there. Brody Hopkins on the back check, and Gage Winke gets that left toe for the save on the far side. Friedman across for Hopkins. And there's a collision there, and there's a hurt player over on the far side. Vanbragt now making his way back to his feet. Looks to be okay. All right, and here we're back into action. It's Amborski. Amborski tries to backhand one. Now sends one over for Curtis up in the slot. Back up the wall. That's over the stick of Mushlock. McNeal tries to dump it, poke checked off, and it's going to create a break the other direction. And Winke gets beat there as they try to go backhand fake to the forehand side, and it's 2-0 hockey game here for Nebraska. Cody Morris, the goal scorer there for the Nebraska Warbirds. And Wyoming needing to get one in the back of the net here in this next minute 34 just to kind of garner some momentum their direction. But Nebraska wins the draw. Held in by Henderson. Pushes it deep. Centers. All the way back for McNeal. Finds Denton. Denton can't play it cleanly. Now with a minute to play in the period. Fed up here for Easy Anderson. Anderson chips around the defender. Has Denton going to the front of the net. Feeds it over. But good defensive play right in front of their own net. Just disciplined in the right spots every single time. There's another block out front by Nebraska. Again, most of the play has been in the end of the Nebraska Warbirds, but unfortunately the scoreboard tells a different story. McNeal feeds it off the wall. Sanders back behind. Has one to beat. Sanders works to the middle. Angled off the puck. Sanders turns, centers it. But there's again 4 black sweaters, actually all 5 of them swarming the area. McNeal can't punch it in. 5 seconds and the period's going to expire. Hopkins will fire this one in from outside the zone. There is the horn. And after 1 period, it's Nebraska Warbirds up on top of the Wyoming Pronghorns 2-0. All right, back in action here. Second period draws 1 back for the Pronghorns. And there's a big collision. Checking not allowed, but they're allowing that one. McNeal back behind Winke. Taken down, Denton. Now it'll be picked up by Vanbragt. Cannot clear. Sent back to the point. Oh, and Denton trying to create a break chance for Wyoming. Much needed. McNeal gets this one. Pushes it off the boards. Denton now with control. Lachlan Denton works around defender. 1 left to beat. Denton centers it, but out of the reach of Finn Amborski. Nebraska back through center. Gets past McNeal. Centers across. Nobody home there for Nebraska. Comes around to the near half wall. Vanbragt clears it out. It's going to go for the icing. And draw here. Wyoming battling for it on the near boards. Burr fires a shot. That's blocked by Mushlock. He does get it cleared out. This one lifted for Mushlock. He'll play it just inside the zone. Poke checked off and then taken to the ice. That's going to go for an icing this time against Nebraska. Back in action. Wyoming working there on the far boards. It's Mushlock, Vanbragt, along with Sanders, I believe. Here's a shot. Anderson, blocker save, and then covered. Round to the far side, Ralston Friedman. Here's Denton, right in front of the scorer's table. Has Friedman with him. Denton works to his forehand side and just not sharp just yet in the puck play for Wyoming today. There's a shot saved out front. Friedman was standing on the back door. Onto the far wall, Easton Hansen from his own zone, feeds it off the board for Friedman. Now Denton, 2 left to beat. Denton plays the puck forward into the zone. Denton tries to delay, taken out, should be another trip, but no. Good defensive play there by Amborski, forcing that puck out. It comes back into the zone, offside. Henderson over for Hansen, fed up for Curtis. Hansen up the boards again, trying to look for Curtis. That's deflected into the center circle. Amborski relieved of the puck, and it's going to be Nebraska back into Wyoming territory. Mushlock pushes it up the far boards. Chipped out of the zone by Curtis. Back and forth. Here's Vanbragt from his own corner. Feeds it around near side. Amborski, McNeal. Now sent back around to the far side. Off the outside of the net. McNeal puts it off the boards. Denton chips it around. Lachlan Denton. In trail is Curtis. Denton skates around one. Forehand shot deflected up into the high glass. Rebound comes to the near side, and it's corralled by Nebraska. Now picking it up here is Easy Anderson. Anderson into the zone, onside, works into the slot. Anderson has a chance and ranks it off the crossbar. Under 7 minutes to play in this period. Wyoming still looking for its first goal of the hockey game. Had 9 of them yesterday. And that's a lazy crossing pass there that gets intercepted. Into the zone, offside. Draw controlled by Mushlock. Looking to skate it around. Into the center. Fires a shot. That's saved. The rebound is corralled and held. Near circle offensive faceoff will be taken by Mushlock. He's got Friedman and Hopkins flanking him. He'll win it over for Hopkins. Now McNeal fires a shot, does not get through traffic. Friedman sends a sharp angle shot. Puck loose, now covered. Second consecutive offensive zone faceoff, won by Mushlock over for Hopkins, who fires a shot, goes wide right. Nebraska picks up the rebound back behind their own net. Now right back into Nebraska territory. Mushlock working near corner. Centers one across. Again, that pass intercepted by Nebraska. Mushlock reverses around near side. Hopkins heading for it. Hopkins turns, fires off the outside of the net. Lots of traffic in front of the camera today. Apologies for that. This one comes the length of the ice and sticked aside by Winke into the corner. Around the boards. Vanbragt trying to keep it in, no. And it's going to be 2-on-1, odd man rush the other direction. McNeal does a good defensive job pushing that corner to the sidewall. Fed up the wall here. Nebraska peels it off. Backhands one deeper. Played now by Denton. They'll say it's played with a high stick. Not sure about that, but we'll get the stoppage and play anyway. There's a shot blocked out front. Another one. And Henderson blocks that one as well. Henderson goes to the corner. Under 4 minutes to play in the period. Wyoming needing to make something happen here. If we could just get one break our direction, it would change the complexion of the hockey game quite a bit. Here's Anderson, chips it around one. Batted back right at the Nebraska blue line. Now picked up by Anderson again. He's back checked. Hooked. No call. Get back. Nebraska backhands it right across the front of the slot. Now Curtis goes to the far wall. Curtis chips this one out of the zone. Anderson is offside. Now an icing. .303 remaining to play in the period. Mushlock over center. Draw is one back for Wyoming. Added back and forth. Now Jayce McNeal misplays that just inside the blue line. And a good back check there from Mushlock to delay Carlson. There's going to be a shot that comes on Winke. He'll play it with the right pad. Now Friedman, flanked by Hopkins. Friedman into the zone. Poke checked off. Maintains control though. Now sent to the corner. Friedman will dump. Mushlock and Hopkins going to the far side after the puck. Mushlock battling for it there. Gets past Hopkins all the way back to Vanbragt. And it'll be Nebraska. Odd man rush, but hustling back is Friedman to even the numbers. Good back check there from Raleigh Friedman. Here's Hopkins into the zone. Brody Hopkins lifts one. That's blocked. And offside. In the corner, that comes right across the front of Winke. It'll be picked up here by Weston Sanders. Sanders crossing pass. Misses. That was Easy Anderson. Throws into Nebraska territory nonetheless. Now played by Denton. Pushes it up deeper along the near wall. Denton tries to feed it across for Sanders up front. Backhand shot. Corralled and covered. Denton trying to make something happen from the backhand. Wraparound attempts. Shut down. Henderson not able to keep this one in. Henderson finds Denton. Denton trying to cross and pass for Weston Sanders. That's broken up. And here's going to be Swain for Nebraska. Gets his pocket picked by Sanders. And it's going to be a penalty. Coming to Nebraska, Dirtmeyer heading to the box. 1 minute for slashing. All right, Wyoming on the power play for the remainder of this period. Need to make something happen right here. Fed back to Anderson at the blue line. Lifts a shot. That's wide right. Amborski going to the far side, and no defender there on that far side. It gets chipped out of the zone. Now McNeal up for Mushlock. Crossing pass for Denton. Good puck movement. Denton gets his pocket pick. Crossing pass, trying to find Amborski. Dennis into the zone, offside. Ten seconds remaining in the period. It'll be Denton taking the draw. It's one back for McNeal. He'll have to go all the way to his end wall to play it. And there is the horn. And after 2 periods, Wyoming still looking for its first goal of the hockey game. Need to have a big 3rd period here. Important game to get notched under the belt for this one. All right, Mushlock will take the draw here to start the 3rd period. Up the man advantage for the next 17 seconds. It's 1. Hopkins carries it into the zone. Hopkins fires a shot. Rebound. Sent back on net by Easton Hansen. Now Friedman lifts one. That's deflected wide. Hopkins goes to the far wall. Hopkins check from behind. Mushlock trying to dig the puck out of there now. Hopkins sends one across, and that'll be cleared. It's going to go the length of the ice. Played by Winke. I think that would have missed the net for the icing. And Nebraska, Ortmeyer adding to their total. It's 3-0. That should have been an icing. Unfortunately, turns into a goal for Nebraska. And they'll win the draw here. Here's Eli Henderson through center into the zone. Henderson. Sharp angle. Pass there across. Now he'll try to circle around the net. Cannot unleash a shot. And here's Denton into the zone, trying to work toward the center, but there's just defense all over the place. There's a shot, another one off the iron by Anderson. Sanders from the high slot fires one. Rebound right out front, still free. Puck still loose. Vanbragt fires one. Now Amborski tries to get a backhand toward the net. Now Denton had Sanders on the back door. Sanders skates back to get this one. Sends one toward the net. Denton trying to corral it on. That's around the wall and should be an icing here against Nebraska. Shots on goal favoring Wyoming, 16-10. But it's Nebraska up on top, 3-0, under 10 minutes now to play in the hockey game. There's a shot from Curtis. That's blocked and goes wide left. Puck is poked out of the zone. It's an odd man rush back the other direction. Wyoming fighting to get back. They do. Mushlock is tripped, gets it over to McNeal. Now Friedman is tripped. And they just make no calls. I mean, there has been, I don't know, at least a dozen calls left uncalled here of just blatant penalties. In both directions, but still. Hansen battling here on the end wall, trying to feed it out for Curtis, who is camped out front. Now Mushlock turns, sends one toward the slot, intercepted. Into the zone. The time for urgency is now. Got to start taking a bit more chances for Wyoming. That one comes into the zone offside. Zakotnik checks in at goal. And it's Hopkins pushing it up the far boards. Anderson here. Anderson trying to cross in pass for Sanders, and then Hopkins takes a shot. That's a good save. Played here by Vanbragt. Up the wall, but nobody there. Needed to send it back to a defensive partner. Around the boards. Back behind Henderson. Henderson taken out. Vanbragt swings over to try to play it. Right out front, two open Nebraska. But there's a save by Zakotnik, and then the rebound goes in. Here's Amborski. Fires a shot, that's high. Kept in the zone, Mushlock tripped, no arm in the air, what a surprise. Pushed out of the zone, here's Mushlock working on the far side. Denton trying to hustle to get up into the play. Fed over for Denton in the slot, cannot get a shot off. There's finally going to be a trip. Ortmeyer's going to go back to the box another time. And with 6:02 remaining in the hockey game, Wyoming gets another power play. It's a run clock, unfortunately, with the 4-goal differential, and so that's not working in their favor. They have got to cash in a goal fast to stop the run clock. Sure what they're doing with the clock. They stopped it to put the penalty on. Vanbragt gets this one. Now Mushlock turns. Henderson into the zone. Henderson fires a shot off the outside of the net. Offside. Back to full strength comes Nebraska. Held in there by Hansen, but then poked back out. Here's Anderson. Turned over. And again, just that crisp play with the puck has not been there this game for Wyoming. Hopkins will carry it in. Poke checked off. Offside. Here's Vanbragt from the right circle, fires a shot, hits a defender out front, and then cleared. Offside. Here's Denton. Gains the zone. Forehand shot, saved. Anderson keeps this in just inside the blue line, feeds it across for Amborski. And just that lack of crispness continues as the pass not able to be handled. Right back out front, and again another missed opportunity. Offside, clock still running. One back by Wyoming. Henderson feeds it across for Hopkins. Final 8 seconds. Hopkins sends one offside, and that's going to be the end of the hockey game as the clock will expire. Not the effort that Wyoming was looking for out of that one. Disappointing 4-0 loss. Back in action later this afternoon against the Littleton Hawks at the YMCA of Northern Colorado. That likely to be a tougher test than this Nebraska Warbirds team. So a lot of soul searching will happen across the early afternoon, and we'll be back in action. Hope you can join us. Until then, I'm Josh. We'll see you.